Hello everyone and welcome back. This video is a step-by-step tutorial on realistic lips. This is the material I'm going to use for this artwork. So let's begin step number 1. Base. I'm using 2B pencil for the base layer. Gently shade the area by putting equal pressure on the pencil. I'm using dry brush so I can fill the white area that is left, and a blending stump for the edges, and obviously a tissue paper to cover the wider area so there may not remain any patches on the surface. Now I'm working on the second layer as I'm done with the base layer. Again, using 2B pencil, I'm covering the darker areas. Carefully observe the reference image if you have any. And if you don't have, just go with your imaginations and it will definitely work for you. However, if you are a beginner, please use reference photo because just by observing a reference image, you come to know about numerous details and the depth which a reality bears. Don't forget to blend after every layer. Now use your 4B pencil and create such kind of curvy lines. As you can see in this video, you may have seen so many people with so many lines on their lips. Just copy the lines as I have drawn. Now use your kneaded eraser and create such kind of highlights as you can see in this video. This will create a realistic effect. I really like the function of kneaded eraser as it get into any shape I want and just slightly remove the excess of graphite, leaving a smooth surface behind. Now I'm using 6B pencil and I'm creating a good depth into my sketch just like this, and as always I am blending after each layer. I'm using my eraser pen and creating some highlights. Again, I'm adding some shadows. It is so easy, the layering process. If you are working on realism, then there is only one method which can help you achieve realism. And that one method is a layering method. As you can see, I'm using mono zero eraser to create some sharp highlights. Now I'm again making some prominent details into my sketch. No one is perfect. I always keep making mistakes while working, so don't afraid of rectifying your mistakes. Now I'm using my electric eraser to create more sharp highlights and again blending the sharp edges. Now I'm prominenting the details. I'm repeating the same procedure on the other side of the lip that was left. Again creating the curvy lines and going to repeat the process of shading in layers again. I'm repeating this phase. Don't forget to blend after each layer. First you are done with the base, blend it. Then you are done with the second layer, blend it. Then you are done with the details, blend it. Then you are done with the highlights, blend them. Then you are done with the details again, just blend them. And then again highlights, blend them. And then final highlights. Don't blend them thoroughly, just blend the sharp edges. So this is the total procedure. Focus on my steps. Don't you have a question in your mind at why I'm using so many erasers for a simple task? I use kneaded eraser for the first layer because it is very soft and pick up the excess of graphite present on the surface. And so on. As my graphite grade increases, I change my erasers according to their functionality and their effectiveness. Kneaded eraser cannot work on 4B, 6B, 8B pencil, but the other erasers may work. Step 2. Teeth. I'm creating a base layer for the teeth, and for this I'm using a chalk powder. Use 4B pencil to add the details and prominent the shape of the teeth. I use chalk powder because it is very smooth and provide a gentle base layer. And now I'm adding dark areas with the 6B pencil. Again I'm blending each layer. Now add the highlights here, the final one. Moving towards the step number 3, lower lip. Again I'm going to shade the base layer here with a 2B pencil. I'm using blending stump here for the edges because I want to create depth into my sketch from the edges. Now I'm using chalk powder for the second layer. Chalk powder is very smooth and it covers the white area that is left while shading, and it gives a very smooth effect. Now I'm using 4B pencil and I am creating some darker areas. Where the lip is bent, try to shade that area with a little darker pencil, and where the area is lighter, keep it light anywhere. Moving towards the background, I have created the base layer. Now I'm working on the shadows with the 4B pencil and then blending it thoroughly. Now let's work on the third layer of the lower lip, and I'm using 6B pencil for the darker values here. If you are working on a darker tone, then don't rush and don't use a 6B pencil or 8B pencil, 4B pencil for the first or second layer. Instead, keep upgrading your grades of pencil by using 2B pencil for the first layer and then 4B pencil for the second and third, 6B pencil, and so on. If you are working on very darker tones, then use 8B pencil for the fourth layer. If you will not work in layers, then you will not get a realistic effect. If you will rush and use the 4B pencil or 6B pencil for the first or second layer, then it will create patches on the drawing and it will look very rough. However, the graphite will not blend properly, and that particular area will look totally different from the rest of the sketch. When you are working on the realism, then please follow the method of layering, because layering provides a very gentle and smooth effect and it gives a very realistic effect, and it will also create a beautiful harmony in the overall sketch. But if you will rush and don't follow the procedure, then it will create a very bad and rough effect on your drawing. As you can see, I have just repeated the procedure of layering even for the lower lip. And now for the sharp final highlights, I'm using electric eraser and creating such kind of little curvy lines which are very sharp to create a realistic shine, a realistic texture on the lips. Now moving towards the background, and I'm going to create texture over there. I'm using chalk powder to create the shape of the mouth. As you can see, midtones and shadows create depth into the drawing while highlights prominent the area. You can see how I have created midtones and prominent the shape of the mouth, and where the highlights present on the upper lip V, and you can easily observe how it works. I'm using tissue paper for the blending here because it is a very wide area, and I'm using perfection pen to create some texture that is present on the skin. This is the final result, and I hope you liked this video. If so, then don't forget to subscribe and also press that bell icon, because I'm going to share more tips and methods in my coming videos in future. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.